good, y'all? Listen, look, I'm mad I even gotta say this.
Why are we acting like this is not agree? Don't get your fucking pro black out of here.
There's nothing wrong with hate. You've got to hate some things with a passion. And destruction, they must dislike and hate with a passion.
I love the delineation movement. We've been on this for a while. A problem I'm starting to see, though, some of these Negroes on the internet, man, it's really mainly on the internet. I'm going to say this. Some of these Negroes, y'all got to chill. Some of, man, we are calling other FBAs tether. We are calling other FBAs. We damn near trying to strip their lineage from their ass. Because we are in disagreement. We cannot do that. We know me and you for sure are two of the biggest voices that's like FBA is not no damn organization. It's not a group. It's not a hate group. It got nothing to do with MAGA or any sort of political organization. It's a lineage. That's it. But then you got niggas on the internet like, oh, man, this nigga, oh, he got a white girl. Man, that nigga talking like that. Man, that nigga from Nigeria. He lied. Man, that nigga from, it's like, okay. And don't get me wrong, because we done called it a couple times. Some of these tethers really do be lying. Some of these people do be pretending to be us, and we got to call it out for sure. But some of us real life, we have different perspectives. You know, black people always let us say we're not a monolith, and it's true to a degree. But we have to understand, we got to give each other more empathy when it comes to these conversations. You know, with having disagreements, being on opposite sides of the spectrum, it's like, yes, certain things are big red flags to me. I may mark you off of my head as a coon if you say, or as, you know, anti-black, like, that's not my cup of tea. But also, certain things you just got to learn to kind of, like, certain people are just going to have that opinion, that stance, you know? So we can't keep making this argument that it's, or not even, it's not an argument, because that's what it is. This FBA is a lineage. But we have to check those of us who try to skew that narrative of it, because they're trying to act like there's a standard or qualification outside of your parents or your bloodline that makes you FBA. And there's not. I'm not liking that.
Yeah, it's about the lineage. And the thing is that when you see people do that, it kind of makes the whole, because the lineage is a lineage. FBA is not a movement. FBA is a lineage. There is a movement of FBAs, but FBA itself is just a lineage. Exactly. Everybody in the lineage is not a part of the movement, you know, and the movement predates the term FBA. We've been advocating for reparations before the term FBA came up. We've been trying to hold white supremacists accountable and dismantle the system of white supremacy before the term FBA or ADOS ever existed, you know, so it's not that. But the thing is that now that we have people framing FBA as a group, organization, a cult, or whatever the case is, it doesn't help the argument by saying anybody you disagree with is non-FBA. You can suspect it, and a lot of times they do lie. A lot of times they will hide their immigrant background, but to use it as a cop-out can actually make the whole message and the whole grassroots narrative look ridiculous. Okay, it can make it look like, okay, well, y'all saying it's not an organization, yet anybody who don't agree with y'all is not FBA. You know what I'm saying? And that's just not the case, okay? We've always known that there's been coons in the lineage. There's been people off code in the lineage. Or there's people who just don't agree with certain things. There's FBAs who don't agree with reparations. There's FBAs who don't think that racism is that bad. Unfortunately, not too many, thankfully. But no, we have some, and they are just as FBA as you and I, unfortunately. You know what I'm saying? So in order for us to get the message clear, so it doesn't get rebranded or tangled up into some cult or organization or whatever, we got to be honest. Okay, you can be FBA and you can be on code. You can be FBA. I feel like it's a spectrum. Like us, we all about black empowerment. There's some people who are kind of pro-black every now and then there's some people don't care. And then there's some people who coons. So it's kind of like a spectrum thing going on. You know what I'm saying with that. Tether's not so much. It's you either solid or you all the way off code. They don't have, it's black and white with them. The thing is that sometimes you can tell when somebody is FBA or not, and sometimes you really can't. Sometimes you cannot. I'm going to be honest. If you look at Candace Owens and you didn't know who Candace Owens was or her background, you wouldn't be all like, oh, she's from the Caribbean. You couldn't do that.
If she got a head done. because some of them silk presses. Some of them silk
when
presses.
she was doing the bad weaves and all that.
When she was fucking with the bad weaves, yeah.
You know,
but
like some people you didn't know. Mark Lamont Hill.
I did not know he was not FBA. I literally just learned that right before we started this. He told me that. I had no idea. That's insane.
He's not FBA. You know what I'm saying? There's some people now, for instance, if you look at Myron Gaines, you can tell, you don't look FBA. I'm saying there's some of them who stick out like a sore thumb, and then some who don't. So this is why our vetting needs to be a little bit sharper. You know, so instead of just going off a look, sometimes you got to go off, or even accents sometimes too. Sometimes you just got to go off of the vibe. You got to give them a certain vibe check. And sometimes, even if you suspect, because they might be Pan-Africanist, that you suspect are FBA, but they just like, no, Africa's great. They might be FBA. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and trip you up.
We shouldn't do, if you agree, you're FBA. If you're not if you don't agree, you're not FBA. And the reason for that is because people take that and be all like, man, y'all don't think anybody who disagrees with you is FBA. Yeah, that's not. You can't make the argument that this not a organization. We're not a monolith, but if you don't agree, you're not in. You know what I'm saying? So it hurts the argument and really the progression of the movement as a whole.
Yeah, and it honestly, it makes it easier for these detractors to frame it as, as an organization. And for some people, I just want to ask, like, is the ultimate goal... Is the goal justice or for you to win a damn debate, win an argument? Because for some of these Negroes, again, it's mainly online, thank God. But for some of these Negroes, it really just feels like some sort of like some sort of, I don't know, like a power, almost like a high you're on. You know what I'm saying? Just being able to go back and forth with people and win these little arguments. And it's like, bro, at the end of the day, we're doing this to be constructive, to add to the progression of our people. We're trying to get reparations. So these are things that we're working towards. You're supposed to be actively working, not just to be debating, just to be saying you won and you expose somebody as a tether. Oh, nigga, I knew you was a firm. It's like just to say I got you, for some people. And it's like we losing the plot. So yes, FBAs have been some of us have been losing the plot by trying to act like some people, deter from the conversations and act like we put lineage on people that they're not. But even going back to some of these actual tethers and some of these Africans, because some of these Africans are in our spaces and don't act like that they're us. Or they come to our spaces, some of them even pretend to be bi-ethnic, just so they have some sort of validity in our spaces. And it's getting weak because we're seeing some of the same narrative being spewed by these non-FBAs, in particular the Africans. There's a whole thing with the whole, I don't know if we talked about this on the last one. I feel like we didn't actually say this word, but African booty scratcher, did we talk about that particular term? I feel like we didn't bring that up, that particular term.
I don't know if we brought the term up. We did kind of bring up the fact that they claim to be bullied or xenophobia or something like that. We brought that up, them false claiming xenophobia. African booty scratcher, I don't remember.
I don't know if we brought that up. Now, African booty scratcher, I know we've talked about it on live. We've talked about it before. I don't know if we've said it on a particular podcast. But like we've said before, African booty scratcher is not it's not specifically for Africans. We'll call a Caribbean that. We'll call another FBA that. That's just I don't even know how it came about, to be honest. Do you know the origins of that? Did it come from a show?
It came from like a comedy show or movie or something like that. And you know how kids, they see something insert a movie. Oh, I'm going to use that. You're an African booty scratcher. Like that.
Okay, gotcha. So not the same as a kata that was actually created specifically to insult foundational Black Americans. Not the same. So these people really like to bring up these false equivalencies to validate their experiences. But it's dangerous because, again, some of them are pretending to be us. Some of them are saying, oh, well, you know what makes it even worse is that some of them aren't even just pretending to be us. Some of us some of them are trying to erase us and to make their experience more valid. So they'll say, oh yeah, well, I'm first generation Caribbean and African, but I've been here my whole life. I've never been back to Korea. I only know about Black people, so I'm basically y'all. But y'all still call me, I've been called an African booty scratcher, and I've da-da-da-da. So it's like they try to dip in and out, which is weird because just because you were born here and you haven't been back to your actual homeland don't make you me. I don't know how it feels to have a homeland to go back to because I'm already in it. So we're not sharing the same experience whether you think so or not. But some of these people will really think like, oh, well, because because I'm in the same space. We go to the same school, so I'm living the same experience as you, and so I don't think I should be excluded from certain insults. So I should be excluded from being pushed out like others, or looked at as others when I'm not other. I'm you, and you're not me.
Like an honorary FBA.
Right.
Yeah.
And you're not me, and it's very weird because we don't do that in other groups.
No.
Like we've never gone to Jamaica and tried to become like it's weird. You know, I got a sister in DR. She's not trying to become. She knows she's not Dominican.
Yeah.
The states, their government will let her, makes it very clear in their paperwork that she has to sign, she's not a Dominican. So these other places, they don't do that. But it's, again, when it comes to here, and again, that's why I'm like, they're playing this dangerous game because we don't, it's hard for us to tell because we don't do that. Yeah, it would be different if this was a game that we played, but we don't play this game.
We do not play by our green. You fuck with the team. Might find your West in the creek. We crossing our T's. We don't never miss a